Hello, welcome to the Dutch GP recap. I'm trying to start it now for YouTube because I edit them down and it's kind of I just start and so there is no introduction, there is no transition. Oh, what a race, what a race, what a race. I have much to consider. Much to I don't know why Lewis is mad. They screwed Charles over. Sorry he waited one lap to obey. Like he's still pitted way too early. And they completely had Charles pit so that he wouldn't have to worry about that a second time. Also, like, I adore Lewis, but I don't know why he would be mad about Charles not obeying team orders when he literally wouldn't give him the toe in Monza last year. Like we're not playing this game. Now, it was a tire offset. It is tough. But like Charles pitting there didn't fit. It's also so funny because you can clearly tell they've agreed like no team orders like that. So what the like instead they're just like pitting them at inopportune times to like oh, that part my video. I'm going to that part, yes, yes, absolutely. And like, I don't know. I understand being frustrated because you're stuck behind some like your teammate who's on a different tire strategy. But if you're Charles, you have to hold your ground there, which he really didn't even do. He pitted the next lap. But yo, what's up?
Okay. I know you're gonna want to focus on the Ferrari of it all.
I have like 9 different Ferrari talking points, so we can start with Mercedes if you would like.
Toto Wolf, I am in your motherfucking walls.
What happened?
What in the name of holy motherfucking Christ were you fucking thinking with that driver swap? Okay? I am not saying Kimi Antonelli shouldn't have finished P2. He absolutely fucking should have.
Did they team orders them?
One, they team orders them. But two, they team orders them in the stupidest fucking way possible. Was Kimmy gonna pass George? Absolutely.
Well, then, yeah, make him pass.
Team orders them on lap fucking 72, and you do it in the last fucking corner because Kimmy would have been able to defend Lewis easily, and it would have been an easy Merc 1-2. But no, you fucking team orders Kimmy along in on lap 60 fucking 5. And then you don't even tell that little Italian fucking twink to give George fucking overtake mode. You hung George Russell like a fucking dry.
Yeah. I didn't realize they team orders them. Sorry, I was so busy.
George said no, and then they were like, do it anyways.
It's so funny. I completely missed that because I was obsessively trying to find the clip of Sebastian Vettel telling them the math equation that they need to do on the pit wall that I was in such a Ferrari tailspin that I completely missed it.
George Russell, the man that you are holding Lewis off, incredible drive. Now, not a great first 60 laps of the George Russell experience this year, or this race, but, you know, Mercedes, I am in your fucking walls. The second that they pit Kimi under the VSC, I said, I watched races with a friend, and I said, they absolutely need to tell George, they need to tell Kimi to sit in George's gearbox, and you will get team orders to head it in lap 72 to guarantee the double podium. Kimi should have finished ahead of George Russell. That is not the point I am making.
Yeah, but the problem is if you do that, it's way easier for George Russell to just be like, no.
Then fuck him over in Monza. Fuck him over in.
Well, they're gonna do that anyway, Evan. That's not a change of plan.
Well, you get to fucking that.
No, I think if you're
a complete abomination for Mercedes, legitimately, put George back in Williams. Fucking job swap him with Carlos side. Because at least Carlos is used to being a fucking useless bitch ass number 2.
You're lashing out in anger. No, Carlos wouldn't have swapped because he's smart and he understands that you get nothing by giving. Like, and we will circle back to this theme probably many times in this live, but
so you're gonna have to explain to me the Ferrari stuff because,
if you're George, like, what do you have to lose? Like, don't do it. It blows my mind that, like, in situations where it's obviously the Valtteri Bottas Lewis Hamilton of it all is different. Like people, the Valtteri it's James meme actually pisses me off because I'm like, well, when you're 130 points back in the championship, yeah. Like, sorry. You will be moving out of
The other thing with like Valtteri like, bro, you won one race in a year. In a year, you win the opening race of the year after a season where you win 0 races in the fastest car. Kimi Räikkönen won a race in 2018. Valtteri Bottas could not in what Lewis Hamilton won a championship in. But to fuck you, Valtteri. But no, I am seeing, you saw the text message that I sent.
yes, yes.
But also, can I just say, Charles Leclerc? I know he didn't have a great race. For my purposes, Charles Leclerc, man of the goddamn fucking hour. Hashtag quit Twitch Quartet for life. That crazy half dive bomb on Lewis on lap 72, which he was never going to make stick, and he knew he was never going to make stick, that distracted Lewis just enough, gave us like 3/10, which killed Lewis's chances of overtaking George Charles.
Yeah, that was no, they're big mad about that one. And I'm like, here's my thing. And both the Lickfosi and the Team LH people are guilty of this. But my biggest pet peeve, and I like to think that even in my fandom, even in my peak delusional Seb fangirlness, I know when I'm being ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, I can be like, yeah, I have a double standard and I don't care. But like, what the both Look Fosi and Team LH will do is like, they like to, anytime their driver needs to, he didn't compromise both of their, he compromised Lewis's race, which, yeah, why would he screw, which, first of all, he didn't even really disobey. He just pitted the next lap. But which still completely screwed him over. But then he had a slow stop. It was into traffic, so we can't tell like where it would have ended up normally. But like, why would Charles be a team player after Lewis wouldn't even give him the toe in Monza when he had a penalty? Which again, I'm not shitting on Lewis for that. But when the Lickfosi were with their freaking torches and pitchforks after that, all of the Lewis people were like, why should he help him? Like he wants to get the best starting position possible. Like blah, blah. And I'm like, well, duh. But then when Charles won't pit like 6 laps too early, they're like, we whenever they're like the team which no, I think he shouldn't have caved. I think he should stay out. But he was just like, I'm not gonna completely screw myself over. But whenever whichever driver it is needs something, they act like this is we are crusaders fighting for the church and we must give all to the noble cause that is Ferrari. And I'm like, fuck off. Like you don't and specifically now, the Team LH people are being so holier than thou about it. And I'm like, when has Lewis ever been a team player? Never. And that's a compliment. Like, I'm so can I just be lightly misogynistic?
Do you think the Team LHers have ever watched the final 20 laps of Abu Dhabi 2016?
Which Lewis did the right thing.
Which, to be clear, I don't want to even like hold against Lewis. Like,
No, nor should you. He was trying to win. That's what we're here to.
What was he supposed to do? Let Nico Rosberg just win the championship? Just like give up and cuck him out?
No, he was absolutely correct. He was
His only chance.
absolutely correct to do that. No, can I be? And again, the Lickfosi are just as guilty of this. To be fair, I've just been blocked by more of the crazy ones because of the should Charles be emotionally, spiritually, sexually bound for to Ferrari for his entire life discourse. But okay, but I will say this. It is different when you're going for a championship. But I would argue that in these situations, like at the but that argument goes both ways. Like, okay, so if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. But
Precedent set in non-championship years
carries over to
championship years.
nobody
Ferrari thinks they can compete for the 27 title. Whether they can, who the fuck knows?
Right. And whether this always is the discourse where there's this, for some reason, big brother propaganda that if you cooperate and you go along to get along and you're a team player, that this will somehow endear you to the team and be beneficial to you in the end. And that is just literally never the case. See McLaren last year. But there are many, many cases.
You know the origin. You know the origin of the Big Brother propaganda, right?
Mark Webber.
No, actually, because it didn't actually work.
Well, yeah.
Case.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. There are.
No, Hungary 2017.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't even. Dark days. Dark days. But
When Lewis was like, "Oh, I'll give this place back if I can't pass Kimmy," and then he actually did, and so everyone has been like, "You see, Lewis, best guy in the world, best teammate."
right, because he was not competing with Valtteri Bottas. I would actually argue that that move, much like him being like Valtteri is my favorite teammate ever, is a tremendous insult. Like Lewis does not see Valtteri rightfully because he has eyeballs and a brain in his head as competition. But my thing is like there are also conversely many cases where a driver who hasn't necessarily been like the number, which I believe number one drivers are made not earned, and it's a much overused trope. But yes, that is what I meant. But there have been many cases where drivers have caused problems, have gone against the team in a position where they weren't necessarily in a sitting pretty like Max Verstappen situation. See Lewis in 2007. See Sebastian Vettel at all given times. They have gone against the team and it has worked out for them tremendously because it's about winning. It's about beating your teammate, and by by going with the flow and letting them get away with pushing you around, all that is doing is communicating to the team that the next time they need to, oh, like we kind of want to get out of this without ruffling fat. Like, how are we going to get out of this with minimal drama? They're like, well, we'll screw over the guy who isn't going to throw a tantrum about it. Throw a tantrum. Be an asshole. This isn't the best friend Olympics. Like, I don't, and Lewis clearly understands that. And I don't know if Charles does. And that to me is a criticism of Charles and the infantilization of Lewis Hamilton. Oh, I could go on. I could go on. Yeah, he's an asshole on track. You want to know why? Because he's really good at this. Like that
he has seen for 20.
This is not RuPaul's Best Friend race.
This is what, like Lewis's 20th season in F1, right?
Right.
Because 2007 was his first season.
Yeah. Guess what? You know who else is a dick? Seb, Michael Schumacher, Prost, Senna. This is not RuPaul's Best Friend race.
And that's the thing. Like Lewis has understood the incentives from again 20 seasons in F1, and plays to the incentive structure that has been created for him.
On the very first corner of the very first lap of his Formula One career, you know what Lewis Hamilton does? Say, fuck it. I don't really care if they told us to try to avoid racing each other. I'm going to make a crazy dive around the outside of Fernando Alonso, my teammate.
Two-time defending world champion at the time.
Right. And that's why he went on to be who he is. Laying down and taking it has never worked. It didn't work for Prost. It didn't work for Seb. It didn't work for Charles with Carlos. I mean, Charles beat him anyway, but like I mean in terms of like getting a beneficial when we were in Vegas and it came time that Ferrari, which first of all, Ferrari wouldn't even like do that to Carlos because they know he's gonna say no. People always give McLaren 2007 as an example of like why we need team orders, like why team orders are good. And they're like, oh well, look what happened in 2007. I'm like, crazy of you to think that team orders wouldn't have mattered because they wouldn't have done it.
Well, because here's the thing. So Lewis clearly set the precedent early in 2007 that he wouldn't have done it too. Lewis was winning like too much of that championship for it to be a situation where like they could have ever been like, you young guy, you'll get it next time. They never could have done it because he was just like simply winning the championship at like various points.
And Fernando Alonso was actively blackmailing Ron Dennis, so they couldn't do it to him either. But
Fernando, but even ignoring the blackmail step, even if you take the blackmail step out, which obviously you can't, and is like very interesting and important to the story. I'm sorry, do you think the two-time defending world champion is going to sit down and shut the fuck up for a fucking child?
Right, of course not. It also doesn't.
Who spent the entire 2007 season, from my understanding, being like, why is this child not letting me win a championship?
Right. Well, and that's the other thing. It's not like, not that Jensen would just like be like, okay, no problem either. But like Fernando Alonso is also possibly the craziest person you could expect that of. But I'm like, the reason that there was no team orders is because they knew that they would be ignored and it would make the team look stupid. And that's the precedent that you need to set. Like, and I don't like, again, and I do think it is like borderline offensive to be like Lewis Hamilton is like so it's also just stupid. Like you sound dumb. And like you don't watch the races that happened last year, but at all like prior to 2020. And the like again, and like the Charles fans are like just as bad. Like they're like, "Oh, don't get me wrong. I was annoyed about Monza last year simply because I'm like, you like he had a penalty, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the Charles fans who they're a way bigger like culprit of trying to play the like, oh well, like Ferrari, like this isn't like other teams, like this is all about the institution and whatever. I'm like, whatever you say, like,
but also, like,
you sound stupid.
At the end of the day, the institution of Ferrari has basically been a mess for 40 years, except for the 10-year period
Where they were conquered by the Germans.
Like, this is a crazy thing, right? Like, we're starting to get this with the Yankees, and I'm using them because you have compared the two of them so often, right?
They are one entity.
Well, but if you think about it, and like I've invoked the Cowboys, right? It's like I was, I'm in 1997 birthday. You are, I think, roughly same time frame as me.
Yeah.
We have never seen a Cowboys Super Bowl. I have never been. I don't think I've ever been alive. No, I haven't been alive for a Cowboys Super Bowl. Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, this, like, oh, the Cowboys. So can you do something at this point? We're like kind of reaching that tipping point with Ferrari because it's like, this is the 20th, like, next year will be the 20th anniversary of the last Ferrari WDC, right?
Well, also, it's just so clearly Ross Brawn. Like, that's what it is. Because Ross Brawn left at the end of 2006, which means that he built the 2007 car. So,
also if McLaren were not the world's most incompetently run team in 2007, they absolutely can become third in that championship.
Right. Here's the thing, it's so funny when people are like, oh, Ferrari like team orders could have like, I mean, McLaren team orders could have won them 2007. I was like, they could. How about we start with getting them to not actively sabotage each other? How about we start there instead of, how about before we go to they need to help each other, we get them to stop blocking each other and
how about we just let Lewis Hamilton have a representative Q3 lap in Hungary?
Right.
How about that as a start?
Right. How about we start with stop doing war crimes to each other? Like, how about that part of it?
But again, so this is my thing, right? Like, there's a lot of like loyalty. Like, Charles needs to sort of be loyal to Lewis When exactly has Lewis done anything to help Cheryl?
Well, and that's the craziest part. I saw a tweet that was like, Charles clearly doesn't even care about the team outcome. He just wants to beat his teammate. Uh, duh. Like, and to say that,
Imagine if Cheryl had the toe in Monza last year.
well,
Maybe he
right.
qualified second instead of fifth or sixth or whatever the fuck.
To say that after the shit you pulled at Bonzo with a penalty last year is genuine with a straight face. They're so earnest too. And like that's what pisses me off about again, like the people who will they mean it. They are righteous indignation, like straight face.
Do you remember?
And I'm like,
Remember, you and I have fought these people in the same way before. Do you remember what the fuck Guitar 23? The crash on the first lap.
oh yeah.
Do you remember the thing I have talked about this many times to you? They would Team LH's legit take was for the quote unquote for the team. George Russell needed to let Lewis Hamilton pass him because Lewis decided to go on soft tires, which obligates George to let him pass on the first lap.
The cognitive dissonance of both sides to be able to dead ass, like when their driver is being wronged, be like, oh, like they're getting screwed. But then, which is a normal human reaction, don't get me wrong. But I just don't understand the person's mind who can then turn around and dead serious be like, well, like he needs to do it for the team to help out you need to be a team player. I'm like, what is
Well, no, but you don't understand. You don't understand. It's that Lewis Hamilton was synonymous with team success, and now both with George and with Charles, where he has teammates that at least in those cars he was relatively evenly matched with. Team success does not necessarily mean Lewis Hamilton's success.
tell me
They're not synonymous anymore. When you have Valtteri, they're fucking. They are synonymous, and when you have Nico, you.
and I'm not and I'm going to be a little snobby right now and I don't mean this at you because you're not
What crimes you want because you're gonna clinch the fucking constructors by fucking Monza every year.
I and listen and I'm going to be a little snobby right now, but it is not directed I and listen and I'm going to be a little snobby right now, but it is not directed at you because A, you're not like this, and B, you have gone back and watched old races. But tell me you became an F1 fan 4 years ago without telling me you became an F1 fan 4 years ago. Because Lewis Hamilton, pre Valtteri Bottas, for the 10 years of his career that was, had some of the most competitive teammate situations of all time. And for somehow we all managed to comprehend and not be like Jensen Button is an evil, demonic, hateful person because he wants to be.
Well, I think Jensen is all of those things, but that's just because he's a fucking Lando dick, but whatever.
Spiritually,
Hey,
spiritual DJ. He should be a DJ. Like he missed.
true. Though, in fairness, Lando did take 7 points off of Kimmy, so we're actually going to be nice to Kimmy today.
No, like, congrats to Lando. Also, we haven't said that yet, but I'm like, I just
No, congrats to Lando. It was a great race. Like, it's the nicest thing is that we don't have anything to say about you because I'm still fucking mad about other things.
maybe this is how I know I'm getting old because I'm like these fucking children. But okay, wait, we still haven't discussed though the number one Ferrari story.
Not knowing which fire was faster. Okay, what lap did that happen? Did they say that on?
Hang on, I can show you. I can look right now because I fucking.
What I'm asking you is to go back to your tweets.
Um,
On my phone, I won't be able to talk if I look at your thing, but you have a screen open.
that. Right now. Oh, hang on. I have to pause this because I cropped the video.
You could maybe argue, maybe if this is like lap 40, it's like I don't know. Do we like hold off for soft, or do we, or like do we hold off and pit for soft or whatever? That could be a debatable argument. But I'm going to
No, but they literally were like, we don't. They literally were like, they weren't like, oh, like they were like, we don't know. Like, meaning they had no. Hang on. Uh, Sorry, my recording cut off the lap, but it was like towards the end of the race. Like they had already done stints on all three sets of tires, specifically the mediums that they were asking about because, and I'm like, oh, how do you not have any trial there? Like it's actually. Oh my God! Wait, Chris, you can join us. Hang on. Wait. Oh no, I'm not. Okay. I don't my like touch screen just like doesn't work sometimes, which is like super fun. Um the we'll add some we'll get a new we'll get some rotation. But no, maybe I guess not. But sometimes I get the pop-ups, but otherwise I like never see any of the requested stuff. But okay, how do you it makes sense. It makes sense in hindsight. Oh, it's okay. It makes sense in hindsight that they didn't like Hungary, like how have they just never been doing calculations about like how the tires are performing in the races? Are they just back there with a giant fucking wheel spinning it to be like, which one should we do next? Like, I don't know, like what's everybody else picking? Like,
no, I think the answer is that Ferrari is a rigid, right? And they walk in thinking, oh, well, we need to do like a whatever the fuck, like, two stop and a this and a that. And then they ignore the fact that, like, there was a red flag, which, by the way, Chris, part of the reason that there's a quote unquote extra pit stop for everybody is because there was a red flag on lap 2 because of the Max crash. And so that like everyone quote unquote took a pit stop because the pit stop counter is just number of times you go through the pit lane. So like this is the thing people don't remember is that like sometimes like 2022 here where they had to go through the pit lane when Bottas stopped right on the pit straight and they had to like have they had to remove him from there. That counts as a pit as a pit stop every time. But
plus, like, why wouldn't you? You can like you can change your. I almost said change your shoes. You can change your tires for free.
They keep calling it, fresh set of boots.
No, I think it's so cute because I picture the car with little boots on running.
I know, but it is confusing. But no, I think so like everyone quote unquote like 3 stopped or whatever, but they really 2 stopped in terms of like real like race pit stops with race time.
Charles 3 stopped, I think.
Yeah, Charles 3 stopped. Well, okay,
4 stopped.
I will actually defend I will defend Ferrari on the 3 stop because Lewis was going to come out. And remember, Kimi hadn't pitted the VS.
No, they did it to help Lewis. They did it so that they wouldn't be in the same position they were before. That's why they did it. It has no benefit to Charles.
No, it had no benefit to Charles, but like at the end of the day,
it didn't really hurt him either because Lewis was probably going to get him on fresh tires because Charles's were pretty old.
Easily,
but again, I'm like, why do you? Like, I'm almost like, why do it? Like, stay out and fight, Charles. It's like, this is why. Like, again, I'm edging. Now I'm gonna get myself in trouble with the like Fosi as after I've already pissed off team LH. So like, I can't wait to have the entire mob against me. But like, why? Like, this is why, Charles. You get fucked over and over again. It's because you let them. Why wouldn't they rearrange things you around Lewis to make things easier? Because Lewis stands up for himself and you don't. So, in terms of a managerial and operational strategy, yeah, of course, to keep things running. Why wouldn't we prioritize Lewis? Because Lewis is going to put up a stink when we don't, and you're just going to be like, no problem.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to get back to the Mercedes of it all. At some point, I will do a dramatic reading of the texts that I sent to our beloved CJ during all of this.
Don't mind me. I'm gonna put a hair mask in my hair.
I'm just gonna say you just like blanking me as I am having a mental breakdown. Leaving me on red when I'm having a mental breakdown is one of the funniest things.
Listen, I had a freaking 10-minute video to record. I've tried to get live as fast as possible. Everybody else is freaking faster than me.
During the race, you could have responded during it.
No, I
Like,
cannot.
you have like lap 64, okay? You have like 8 laps of race time. Everything else I'm okay with.
Oh, the where do I not have one hair tie sitting around here?
Also, can we just talk? Actually, no, you know what? We're doing this now. Can we talk about the fact that, like, the fact that Lewis didn't get Kimmy or didn't get George is like maybe proof that Kimmy wasn't going to get George anyways? Because it's almost like George Russell has an extreme tendency to like undercook his tires so much, basically, until someone is right on his ass. At which point, his tires suddenly have an extreme amount of life. Like the time that he made 25-lap-old soft tires work against Lando Norris in a faster car last year in Bahrain.
Counterpoint.
Isn't George also like really good at defense? Like, isn't that something that we should talk about? Remember the time that he one stopped it Spa and finished the race in first? I don't give a fuck that they DSQ'd him.
That was sick. No, that was sick. But
Maybe it actually wasn't as obvious that Kimmy was just gonna like breeze by him as we wanted to say, especially given that Kimmy couldn't fucking breeze by Lewis when Lewis was on the Super Bowl tires before the VSC.
right.
Lando then gets Kimmy. Like, I'm just saying.
Counterpoint that no, counterpoint, the Mercedes is a lot faster than the Ferrari, but counterpoint, Lewis Hamilton is a lot better than Kimi Antonelli. And overall,
I figured those two things kind of cancel out.
True. But overall, I agree with you because at the end of the day, whatever you think the outcome would have been, you might as well try. Like nobody ever got anywhere by laying down and dying. And that rant I just had about Charles, double it and give it to George. Why the fuck would you do that? Like,
so you know the.
oh, maybe they're gonna like Kimmy more than me now. Girl, do you have eyes and ears? Oh, they might fire me. Oh, you mean like they've been threatened? That Toto's made clear that if Max Verstappen wanted to go there, you would be out before we could even, before the ink was even dry on the contract. Even last year when you were beating Kimmy?
Yeah, it's almost, like I feel like the day 3 story, as it were, is going to be me, like being pissed at George for complying with this. Like the day 1 story and the day 2 story are me being mad at Mercedes for asking. The day 3 story will be me being mad at this. Hey, Brayton. I mean, that was a very good win.
Oh, congrats.
Very good Brayton win. Fuck Villa. I'm very glad to see the annoying Villa fans on the internet finally accept that actually, like, no, you're not. Just like a couple of good seasons does not actually make you like a top team, and it's in fact the fact that you suck that prevents you from being in the quote unquote Big Six, not the fucking like Sky Cartel.
This
This is not a fucking soccer.
I'm obsessed with
Somebody can keep me updated on the Liverpool Newcastle scores. If anything happens, I would be by me appreciated.
I'm obsessed with there's so much drama in the British soccer broadcasting world that Sky Sports is being referred to as a cartel.
Oh yeah, no, because they prop up the Big Six, which is no, it's just that.
Wait, let's see how many of the Big Six I can name.
Sure.
Okay. Liverpool.
Also, West Ham will not rise again. They literally have 2 points from 6 in the championship. Come on now.
Okay, Liverpool.
Maybe beat Charlton or whoever the fuck, and then I'll allow you to say West Ham will rise again.
Is Liverpool one?
Yeah.
Arsenal. I know that one. Chelsea.
Yeah.
Okay, we're running out of teams. Man United.
Yeah.
And then Man City is another team. 5. Ooh, there's
literally like this team. It's this team's stadium hosts like a bunch of the NFL games that are held in London every year.
Oh, Everton. No, Tottenham.
Tottenham, yes. Everton is the other team in Liverpool.
Oh, okay. I feel like Tottenham's kind of a sneak there. I have only heard of them because of the locker room thing.
Well, yeah, no. The thing, Tottenham like have been they sort of have made themselves like a business powerhouse, but like
I mean, maybe they're good. I have no idea about that. I just mean in terms of like, you know.
they were close to being great. They were good for years, and like the current U.S. men's national team coach is like most famous for being a very good coach at Tottenham.
Okay.
But like they were always the bridesmaids, never the bride. You know,
Yeah.
if we were to cut it to a big five, it's like it's really a big five, and then like Tottenham is like definitively sixth, and then everybody, and then it's like seven down, and in the pyramids, everybody else.
I don't know that I could name any other teams if I'm honest.
Well, you already named Everton, which is
Yeah.
honestly more than I thought you could have.
That.
No, okay. Well, Tottenham. The funny thing about Tottenham is that like they're like the pre. They were like they're at this point they're basically like the post Bird pre Big Three Celtics of like the Rick Pitino era Celtics.
That's tough. That's a tough place to be.
Get relegated in 25. Okay, they were like they still finished like 20 points off relegation. They just came 17th because they were focused on winning Europa.
Can you refresh me on the nature of Rick Pitino's prostitute scandal? He was one of those, right?
I think we're gonna have to say. The only thing I remember off the top of my head is that I do believe he lasted like 17 seconds.
There was a.
We need to get back to F1. We could do Rick Pitino prostitution in Westbrook Hour, aka hour 3 of this live.
He was part of it. There was a string there where like there was a year where there was like for some reason 5 college coaches of different sports that were all involved in like incredibly funny sex scandals. Like it was nothing like dark or sad. Like it was all like consensual encounters that were just happened to be like wildly hysterical and like they got caught in like extremely dumb ways. They were on a run there for a minute. But yes, sir.
Can we talk about Lawson P7? Great performance.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, can we talk about the fact that fucking Harry Benjamin's a fucking retard who doesn't know how to read?
Stop saying retard.
Sorry. It's.
But yes.
Sorry, Twitter has ruined me on this one. Sorry.
He has. I know it's come back on Twitter, but that we should hold the line, okay? But it's okay. I know that I'm fighting a losing battle, but I'm gonna keep fighting it. But he was see, and we got a speech by but they have he was god awful today. I will say. Although Anthony Davidson being like they should do Ferrari team orders for Lewis, Martin Brundle's spirit is alive and well.
Okay, no, can we talk about the fact that Harry Benjamin's an idiot? That better?
Yes, they well, what was it? There was one specific moment where Charles got Oscar and then he was like, "Oh, we couldn't quite get by him." And I'm like, "I'm seeing it with my eyes. He's in front of him right now."
So there's that, but no, do you know how many seconds Liam Lawson was ahead when he got his 10-second penalty?
How many?
43.
Jeez, what?
He was 43 seconds of drift of he was 43 seconds ahead of Hulkenberg because all of the like remember when Gasly and
Lindblad, but yes.
And all of them were fighting and we're having the great midfield racing and Sainz and Alonso were heading up that DRS train.
Yes. Also,
completely cut the midfield adrift.
Mm.
So Lawson was just chilling. He was legit in no man's land. He was 20 seconds, 30 seconds adrift from Lewis, and he was 40 seconds ahead of Hulkenberg, who ended up best of the rest.
That's so fun. We do need to nationalize.
He said a 10-second. Completely agree with you, Chris. He said, "Oh, it's a 10-second penalty for Lawson. He'll lose some places, but he should still end up in the points."
And also, Yeah, and the problem is like I actually really like Anthony Davidson on the Sky Pod. I think he's okay in commentary. Like I'm not, but we needed. He's also too nice to be with Harry Benjamin, and honestly, to be with Crofty a little bit too, because sometimes you need to be firm with Crofty. But Nico,
Like Davidson, here's the thing: Davidson in China, when it was like him and Crofty, and it was like kind of Crofty and like the C team because it's China and no one wanted to fly all that way out. You
yeah,
know, that's fine. You know, that I will tolerate. That I will defend.
yeah,
That I will excuse. And also, by the way, spoiler alert: when you get to do David Croft, you are just simply a lot better at your job.
well, yes, but
Spoiler
I'm like
alert: how that works.
Harry Benjamin. We needed to get Nico in there because Nico is firm when you're wrong. He'll be like, no, we're just I understand how people Nico rubs people the wrong way sometimes, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I feel like he was just a only child who was homeschooled and raised by German and Finnish parents. Like I fear that that's like I think that there's just a cultural disconnect between that and British people who I do believe that if you express anything directly, you just burst into dust sort of Thanos style.
Well, it's also very clear that Harry Benjamin is a radio broadcaster, right? Because his sense of like trying to over explain a thing that like he talks too much during key moments, right? He tries to over explain the self evident thing we just saw.
Yeah, I will say, to be fair to the talk too much thing, Nico Rosberg also, not Nico Rosberg, Crofty also talks too much, but it's Crofty, so like I like it because he's just freaking out. You know what I mean? He is.
Crafty is just like, oh my god, what an incredible move! How did he pull that off? Which is one like a correct response quite often to the events that we have just seen, but two, isn't like trying to over explain track position, like
Yeah.
where someone is on track when we can see because it's there. And the other thing about Crofty is I don't know if it's whoever he has in his ear, but like clearly Crofty is way better at communicating.
My hair looks insane. Sorry,
Like
continue.
Crofty is clearly just better at communicating like what is happening, even if it's not the thing being shared. Right? He's a lot better at telling us like, oh, there's a battle happening for PA
Yeah.
rather than showing the leaders or whatever.
And again, sometimes,
Sometimes
sometimes
this is a skill that can be fixed for, but like,
yeah, I was gonna say this is maybe something that comes with experience, like you said, but it does feel a little bit to me like Harry Benjamin is. Are you like going through? Are you sharpening knives?
I am trying to wash a knife so that I can
Oh, I was like,
watermelon.
it sounded like that noise. You know what I mean? I was like, are you sharpening your sword to like go after Toto Wolf? But the
No, I'm just trying to cut watermelon.
the like it feels like Harry Benjamin is commentating the race like I would, right? Like he is literally watching what's going on and reacting to it as opposed to like Chris said, like sort of steering the whole like he like he's bringing in like other relevant you know what I mean, like, and I will say Crofty does have mix ups from time to time. He'll say the wrong teammate something, and everyone like shits all over him when he does that. And I just want to say that this guy does this way more, and nobody has a peep to say about it. And as the world's
Nice. Look, would it be nice if Crofty could remember that Lando takes the yellow decal despite the fact that he's the quote unquote lead McLaren? Yes. It would absolutely be nice if he could manage to do that at some point in his life. But Crofty is still the GOAT forever.
Yeah, and, like, a little name mix up to me isn't I also just, like again, I fear that Anthony and as much as I really do like Anthony Davidson, I think he's great on the Sky Pod, and that man that's fair, the World War II scene. Oh god, oh god. It's kind of I kind of do. Oh my god, I look like an egg. Anyway, but the literal, like, audacity to get on Crofty's back about that when, like, it is hard and, like, everyone else does that as well. Like, it's not just this is not a problem unique to him. And I don't know. I obviously every time Crofty isn't here, I'm like, but I will say I do miss Brundle the most in moments like the Max crash because I need and also when there are incidents, because I feel like you need someone whose opinion like, as much as I'm like, Brundle is a Charles hater, is a Seb hater, I have my many gripes with him. He is always objective and fair, I would say, in assessing whose fault an accident is. And he's very good at it. And I really trust his assessment and I really rarely strongly disagree with it. And unfortunately, again, Anthony Davidson, great on the sky pad. That man's knowledge of F1 is encyclopedic. I will never forget him holding his ground against Jenson Button in 2024 when he was like, okay, but this is the rule. You can argue that the rule should be changed, but this is the rule. However, I don't have and maybe this is unfair of me. I don't have the confidence in his judgment the way I have the confidence in Brundles or honestly Nico's. I don't really trust Jensen that much either, but maybe it's one of those things that like has to be kind of or
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is that, well, one, it's very funny to see you like you rejoining the Brundle Hive. You know,
I'm never not in the Brundle Hive. I just he's a Seb and Charles hater. Unfortunately, that is a factual statement. But I do think in specifically in race analysis of whose fault stuff is, he's very fair and usually correct.
yeah. I mean, like the thing with me with both Brundle and Crofty is they both have idiosyncrasies, which is to say, Crofty quite like I'm not being funny when I say this. He always fucks up the teammate like color thing because he just goes like main driver black like T-cam bar, right? And because he would screw it up with George and Lewis. And he would screw it up with Lando and Oscar because, except he wasn't quite as bad with George because he remembered that Lewis like gave him the black as like a sort of welcome to Mercedes
Yeah.
thing. Whereas like Lando just seems to like the yellow because like the yellow is kind of like more a Lando color, and he just can't remember it, right? And Brundle, yeah, like will Brundle ever realize it wasn't a gearbox problem in Monaco 21? No.
Will he ever apologize to Sebastian Vettel for saying he only won this championship because of Adrian Newey after he just fought back 17 places with a giant hole in the side of his gearbox in after one of the most competitive Formula 1 seasons of all time? And it's almost like every single person who's ever won a world championship has had the fastest car at some point in the season. And there were points in that season where the Ferrari was faster. I would say on average, yes, the Red Bull probably ended up like a little bit ahead in 2012 in terms of like overall season pace. But Mark Webber ended that season 100 points off P1 in P5. So if it was just Adrian Newey, then and it's like the shade to be like you don't like see Lewis win in 2020 and be like the most important man on that team is whoever the fuck designs Mercedes engines. Like you just wouldn't do that because you know it's fucking disrespectful and rude. And did this happen 15 years ago? Yeah. Am I still mad about it? Yeah.
Will you ever get over it?
Nope.
Will you ever get over literally anything that has ever
No,
happened?
I have never one time gotten over something in my life. I file it away for later and I continue to move. Spike can fuel you. Fuel you. As a great woman once said, I don't think you need to forgive and forget to move on. I think you can move on without doing either of those things, actually.
Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up with the comment section here. Chris just being like, Crofty, one of the best things about Crofty is that he will just openly neg the TV direction to show an overtake that he missed.
The best is when Brundle starts making requests direct on air. When he's like, can you show us this replay lap?
No, it's just like But that's the thing. Like that's the thing I actually worry about is that, and why I hope that when Crofty and Brundle hang it up, they just consolidate the Sky broadcast and the F1 TV broadcast because I don't think anyone that Sky can get will have the gravitas to be able to like neg Formula One in that way. And I do think Alex Jacques has some ability to do it.
It really I honestly I go back and forth because I'm like, on one hand, I think Jensen is better at the literal commentary. I love Nico, but it's two things. Number one, sometimes he gets a little in the weeds and it's like I would love to hear you talk about um the way that an oval versus a circular brake disc can affect the balance of the car. And it is actually really interesting and Nico explains super technical stuff really well. But there's a race going on right now, Nico. Like we can't do 15 minutes on this right now. And I will say, it's more of a problem with Crofty than other people because Crofty speaks in like exclusively idioms. But and it's not Nico's fault. He speaks incredible English. But it is very, very hard to do live commentary and to do it in a language that is your third, no, fourth language is genuinely like insanely impressive. But I do think that, like, there are moments, especially in the live commentary, especially when you're going back and forth, where and maybe this would go away with time or maybe as he, like, gets used to each other, where you can tell that it just, like, takes him a couple beats to, like, click, you know what I mean? So I do feel Jensen has an advantage in that way, and I also just think that Jensen is altogether more charming than as much as I love Nico, like, Jensen has the personality for it, but I also think that he's a little bit of a bootlicker. Like, one thing about Nico is you're not gonna get him to cow down to, like, the party line. Unfortunately, he has a disease where he if you ask him a question, he will tell you his honest opinion, and it's hilarious because every time there's a big kerfuffle and we do our quarterly Nico Rosberg discourse, it's over a quote that even the people who are the most mad at him will admit is true. They're just like, "But it's rude of him to say."
No, so here's my thing, okay? And I think the thing you're missing is that Jensen doesn't seem to revere F1. And he is very advocating his reverence for the stage, you know?
Yeah.
And like, was it
Well, because he was raised in the real world. He was raised in the real world by like regular parents who had jobs and he went to school. Like he wasn't raised in the Truman Show.
was it last year that it was Nico and WC Jimmy Chadwick?
Yes.
Who were doing like the post race column or post race show, and they're doing it like from basically the Monza podium with all of the Tifosi or with all the Tifosi behind, you know, like on the main straight.
Yeah.
And like that man understands the moment, right? Nico talking about, you know, Charles winning Monaco, Charles winning Monza, like, you know, he weirdly, because he's psychotic and because he's Keke Rosberg's kid, you know, he speaks with this like reverence that makes you care more about the thing. The only time I've ever seen Jensen do that was when he did Australia 23, when he was like him, he was in the Brundle spot that weekend. And he's just like basically running the pre-show as well, and like you know they're literally walking through like behind like where the podium is. They're just killing time. It's like 11:30 at night. I also only want like that's one of the only times I'll watch like the full pre-show.
Yeah.
Like Jensen was really good because I guess he, you know, he's won in Australia before, you know, like in '09, you know, it was sort of the start of a title winning season, you know, so he's like he actually did quite well. But he just doesn't really like communicate the moment very well.
No, he's a little nonchalant. And I also will say, you know what's interesting? I never thought about that before, but you are right. And I do think, I guess that's why when people are like, "Oh, Lewis is going to retire and like we're never going to see this man like at anything related to F1 again." I'm like, two things. Number one, I just feel like if that was the case, like I don't feel like you stick around for as long as Lewis has if you if that was the case. Because and I think, like, when you listen to Lewis talk about Silverstone or how he was in I hate I trigger warning, but Silverstone 2021 when the fans were back and he, like, ran out into the middle with the flag, like, Lewis, like, does have, like, have that, like,
Authentic that sense of the moment.
exactly. Like, he does have that, like, reverence for Monaco, for Silverstone, for, like, the wider, like, world of racing, you know what I mean? And also, you can tell that he clearly just, like, loves to race, and that's not to say, like, I don't think he's gonna, like, we're gonna get, like, he's gonna go replace Ted Kravitz, you know what I mean? But, like, I feel like, yes, of course, there's probably a ton of stuff that Lewis wants to do that just schedule Senna, the way he talks about Senna, um, even the way he talks about Michael with, like, such respect. Um, he but I think he's gonna go and do all of the things that because Lewis has a very, like, wide array of interests and passions. There's probably tons of stuff that just schedule-wise doesn't work if you're a Formula One driver, right?
Yeah, but when he retires, like, I'm sorry, so he goes to quali. He goes to quali in the race in Silverstone, Monaco. He'll probably be in the U.S. a lot, and then like Brazil, maybe every other year. Because he's just gonna want to go to Brazil, and it's just like, okay, cool. Like, if I know I'm gonna go 4 Grand Prix and do like a few things, and like I gotta go back to London and see some people over in London. I gotta go see some people in the U.S. So like I'll just like
See, I think actually
I'm still probably live in Monaco. I'm still just like make sure he's in town for Monaco weekend. But, like he's not getting down for Monaco weekend. But, like he's not getting.
does, at least publicly, because if there's one thing Lewis Hamilton is, my favorite thing about him is a petty king. And he has spent so long being like, Nico's a loser for hanging around, even though everybody else does it. And he goes to all of Seb's event like first in line. I'm like, you're the funniest person alive. But the, I feel like for a couple years, maybe he'll attend some races. Yeah, whatever. But I feel like he'll go do his own thing. But he is doing Project 44 still. And there are a whole, he's doing what F1 Academy should be doing and investing at the ground level in engineering programs and scholarships and things like that, but also in young carters to just expand the pool. Because if you have to pay $250,000 to do this in a competitive way, the pool of people that is going to be very specific. And not to say that there aren't people that could afford that aren't like just white Europeans, but because the sport is so ubiquitous and popular, and there are probably dozens of black millionaires in Atlanta that could put their kids in this, like they have the money to, but they don't know what the fuck Formula One is. Like, it's just not that much of a thing here. And so he's doing the actual like work to expand that pool. There'll be some talented kid that goes through that. He's gonna be Nicky, I think. Or he'll be like a advisor to a specific driver. But I could see him taking on like a Nicky-esque role at question mark? I don't know. Maybe a McLaren. That would be the plot twist of a century.
Well, and this is the thing. Like, I think Lewis. I mean, I think the other thing is Lewis is not going to be, and we've talked about this before. Lewis is famous, definitely, capital F famous. He's not like the world orients around you and your every move famous. He is in the current in his current relationship. He is the significantly less famous part of his relationship.
I was gonna say after that was true now, just because again, like as much as like he is very famous in the US, like most of my friends would, even the ones who like wouldn't know any F1 drivers, would know who Lewis Hamilton is. However, like,
I don't even give a shit what he's gonna do.
well, right, but I mean, Lewis is much more famous than the rest of them. However, it's still like he's still like athlete, motorsport famous, not like basketball or soccer or
Right. Like is Lewis's every move gonna really matter in like a year after he's retired?
Well, I have faith that well, yes, because I think what he will do is be successful. Like whatever project he does will get him more. He's not going to pull the Seb thing. Like Seb is just on random side quests. He doesn't really care how this like impacts his like profile, right? Lewis is going to put out a he's going to do something. I don't know what it is, but he's going to do something and it'll be like well, yeah, that's just because I mean, basketball is like so ubiquitous.
Like I just don't like. I just think that there is like a very real the delineations of fame at the highest level matter are quote unquote the smallest, but they matter the most in coverage. And just like I think he's going to be a little bit more anonymous than he wants to be in the like just pure celebrity ecosystem.
See, I actually feel like living in New York would be perfect for him. He won't because you have to pay taxes there, but living in New York would be famous for him because it's like that is probably actually nice after being like so like if he lived in London, like he wouldn't be able to do it. It's like Messi moving to Miami, right? Like, yeah, it's he's famous there. Like lots of people know who Messi is, but like you can move about the world in a normal way that wouldn't be possible in other places. These fucking flyovers. I don't know. The B-2 is supposed to be a stealth bomber. It's pretty fucking loud.
Are you going to be watching the MAGA 250?
No, I'm not watching fucking MAGA 250. Fuck them. Fuck their route. All morning. Stealth bomber, by the way. Stealth. So stealthy. Can you come a mile away?
Can I say something really mean?
Sure.
I would absolutely love it if a single shows up during this race. Doesn't hurt anybody. I want them to be okay, but I want them to suffer for doing this. I want people to suffer for doing this nonsense. Okay, is the route even good? Like, do you even see like the mall or Congress or like is it just like the like?
Yeah, because well, they had to do it on federal lands for obvious reasons. So it is like the listen. I've always said I think a race around here would be cool because like uh the monuments are very distinct, right? Like you can see them and you could set up like stand I haven't seen how they've set it up. I was gonna go poke around there like this week after work, but I didn't feel like it. Um I'm like right there. But the I yeah, I I'm not people were like, "Are you going? Like, do you want tickets? Like whatever." And I was like, "No, I am not. And neither should you." But I also I mean, I get it. Whatever. It's like not the Viet what what? What?
No, that
No.
can't be right, is
No.
it?
Please tell me you're joking. That's there's there's no way that would
That's
it's like a because the Vietnam
so offensive.
okay, good. Oh my god. I was like, listen, you joke, but like they fucking spray painted all the statues gold. So I don't even know what's a joke anymore. Next thing you know, we're gonna be like, oh,
To go into DC geography nerd mode for me. I've seen all the monuments. Okay,
mm-hmm. the
I've
the
done it. I've done my DC tourism properly. Okay, I don't need you DC explaining to me.
they the fucking they tore down the White House. We've just demolished the White House for some reason. The we did what the Brits with the
No. It wasn't the Brits. It was us. It was Canada. We burned it down, and we're gonna do it again over tariffs.
please. Please if you're gonna if please if you're gonna drop a nuclear bomb, do it on the Capitol so I get taken out.
You know what? You know what has made me feel the best about IndyCar?
And again, not that this is the biggest problem. Don't get me wrong. This is not even cracking the top 100 things. but they did ruthlessly murder 5 ducks, and those ducks are national treasures. And
So are
5,
you saying that all
5.
lives matter?
No, because that's wildly offensive. But all I'm saying, I'm not saying that this is important, but I am saying I feel that not enough people are know that 5 ducks were slaughtered at the hands of that fuck ass pool that is was never going to be clear because you're pumping in water from the Anacostia River. It doesn't matter what color the bottom is. This isn't the Caribbean.
I'm on fire today, and by on fire I mean I might get your lives suspended, and I'm really sorry about that.
It's okay.
I'm just on one today.
Oh my God. I'm on one recently. Like every day, I just get closer and closer. Rip the dogs, rip the dogs. They are national treasures. I love them so much. But unfortunately, we're also gunning down citizens in the streets and, non-citizens. Not that that matters more than nonsense. We are gunning down people in the streets. So, there's also that. Uh, really, like I said,
I feel like I need to somehow be the responsible one to stop you from getting fired for expressing political opinions.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry, I'm not supposed to.
Fraud watch? What a horrible race from tripod today.
Yes. I will say I
You
would.
got able to get Lindblad for like 10 laps when you had a 15 lap tire delta. Then failing to get Fernando in the final stint.
Yeah, that was crazy. The Fernando part, I was like, "Girl, what are we doing? What are we doing?"
I mean, New England, the Aston back in the points. You worried that they're gonna end up winning Imola? Imagine if Fernando Alonso wins the Imola Grand Prix to end the season.
If I fly my little butt to Italy,
Are you actually gonna?
yeah,
You're gonna go?
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's after the midterms. It's not a bad time to try and take vacation.
No, it's like holiday time, and I I will be there. It's my last opportunity to ever go to Imola. I will say, Dev and I have both discussed this. We're like a little worried that when you have a magical experience somewhere and you like try to go recreate it, it's like never gonna work. But this is why I like that it's like a winter one because I just feel like that's pretty unique. Like there's never gonna be another winter race like in a place where it has winter. And well, I mean, obviously Brazil has winter, but they're reversed. But also
Well, it's also not a winter race.
one thing about me is
Oh
I'll
yeah.
much like London, I'll take any excuse to go to Italy. Literally any. I'm there. There's so much it's so funny because like I'm trying to plan my spa trip and I'm like looking around at like all I have a big list of like one list is like just things in the world that I want to see and like the other one is just like more generic locations and stuff. Why is there like nothing in like Belgium, like that half of Germany? Like that whole area is such a dead zone. Like even there's like a couple things in Switzerland, there's a bunch in Poland, but then like you scroll down to Italy and it's like 8 million things. And that's because I'm obsessed with the Roman Republic, so obviously whatever. But it's like so many places. I'm like, why is there like nothing around the whole well, to be fair, it's a very like rural area, so it makes sense. But the I was like, "How?" I mean, Belgium is cute. I liked Brussels when I went, but,
I mean, my defense of the idea of like, how do I put this properly? Like, you will basically just be living in be visiting a Christmas market that has an F1 race going on. Like from the stuff that I remember from last time, like it feels like that will just be a very cozy, like Christmas market atmosphere.
yeah, and I will say,
Be entering a Hallmark movie.
um,
F1 race.
yes, I will say, like, yes, Imola gets points off because, like, you have to take the regional train there, but it was lit but
I didn't realize you were above taking a regional.
no, I'm not.
I take Amtrak up to New England every 2 weeks.
I'm not. I love the train. And but again, they actually also, they try to equate it with like Monza or Silverstone. I'm like, no, 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 no. There is a train that drops you off a 10-minute walk from the entrance. And not only is it a short, flat walk, but it's also like right down the main street of a beautiful historic town. There's like bodegas, there's restaurants, there's in every single square, not in the morning, but in the afternoon, they have like these gorgeous old aesthetic Italian squares. They have a DJ, a bar, and food options in every single square. And then you get on the train, you go back to Bologna, which is again, it also gets bonus points for being like a gorgeous city. But like don't tell me that if I if there is a shuttle involved, then no, you actually can't get there on public transportation. And I know technically the shuttle counts as public transportation, but like it pisses me off when you're like, there's a train there and it's like, but there's a shuttle. No, then you cannot take the train there. Like that does not count. So it does get bonus points for that. But I will say it's a little bit unfair to compare it to something. I would compare it to Zandvoort, whereas Montreal, like, yes, technically you're taking the train there, but it's literally the subway. Like, and you can walk if you it's 2 miles. Like it's really not that far of a walk. So it's not in the same city in the way a Montreal is, but it's still very accessible from a city that's great to stay in.
So it's just like Coda then.
I'm gonna vomit. To compare Austin to the historical, architecturally divine, and food-wise delicious city of Bologna is such a tremendous insult. Again, Austin, Texas isn't even a city because you need a car to live there. So
You know my relationship to Austin. You know why I had to do
I
this.
know, and I know you love Austin, and that's something I choose to overlook about you because I love you very much. And I understand that it's sentimental, and people are allowed to be wrong about things. However, comma. And I also love Starly very dearly.
Okay, what should I? What? So should I shouldn't love the city the same my life? Oh, okay.
And again, I love it for that reason, and also because Starly is from there, who I love and adore very much. And I've had a
No. Texas is better. You can get gay married in Texas. You can't get gay married in Italy.
Italy has gay marriage. They don't have gay marriage.
Nope. They
What?
pass civil unions.
I always forget how fucking backward Europe is.
Okay, so I'm sorry. We thought like Catholic person was gonna fucking have gay marriage.
Better
I
than
thought that.
evangelical von evangelical.
Well, no, it was just great that Dick Cheney, David Frum, and like the fucking like Carly Fiorina all signed an amicus brief designed to make Antonin Kennedy be like, yeah, bro, you don't want to be more right wing on this issue than Dick Cheney.
Oh
We got gay marriage. We got gay marriage accordingly.
no, I know. No, Dick Cheney being instrumental in gay marriage is the biggest like what moment of U.S. politics. It's like, all right,
You know that Liz Cheney did not attend her sister's gay wedding.
bro.
The
That
fact that we just that you know that as everyone did her like, oh my god, she's such a resistance queen, thing we just completely ignored. But we can't talk about Liz Cheney. We can't talk about these things. I don't want to get you fired. No, this one was the careers. The best Zandvoort we've had in the modern Zandvoort for sure, 1,000%.
yeah, I know.
Banger race, a lot of talking points after them, right? I wish they had just done a doubleheader like they always do after Zam. Like, why the hell is Zandvoort Monza not a doubleheader this year? I'm so mad about
I
this.
know that is so random.
Well, I think it's that Zandvoort is a week earlier than it normally would
Usually.
be.
That reminds me, all this talk of Imola, it's like, are they gonna make like the official designations for the end of the year? Because we're kind of getting there. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to announce it next weekend in Italy. You know.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Also, when Lewis is announcing he's extended his contract, I am pretty sure.
But yeah,
That he's returning for 2027 in Ferrari. I don't know what wording it will be. I don't know like the exact contractual language. You know, unfortunately, they do not put all of the contracts in a searchable, PDF.
they should, honestly.
But like, they will announce because like some of the Italian tabloids are reporting it, and like Lewis is in a good mood this weekend. Everyone at Ferrari is like pretty content. It makes no sense for Lewis to retire this year. Like, I thought he was going to retire, but that's because I thought the Ferrari was going to be a worse car this year.
Yeah, it seems like even though they're in P5 hell, he doesn't seem like he's like fully in misery.
Well, because here's the thing: he's won a race. He's been race C.
Yeah.
Because there's two different P5 hells, right? There's this weekend's P5 hell, which I guess is really like P4 hell, but you know what I mean? Of like, you know, you're sort of like you were racing.
Well, it's P5 hell. Oscar just was on an adventure.
Right. And then like, and then there's like most of last year where you are 20 seconds off the Mercs, who are 20 seconds off, the McLarens, right? And you're like, oh, I am like, we are the third and a half fastest team, depending on how we want to treat the Max Verstappen part of Red Bull. One of these feels lifeless and terrible, and like you're never going to get back to the front, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Lewis always thinking like, hey, we're one good upgrades package away from like actually having some juice,
It's too bad Ferrari can't upgrade their car. I will say, I actually did have that thought as Lewis was like crashing out a little bit on the radio over Charles not letting him by. I was like, it's actually nice to hear like some fire from Lewis because like he is normally like the number one of like on the radio, like whining, complaining, like yelling, whatever. And the last not as much last year, maybe the beginning of last year, but like certainly the last year with McLaren, he just like was like whatever. Like he wasn't like going along with anything because again, Lewis Hamilton would never do that.
Do you mean Mercedes?
Right. That is what I meant. But he was.
Yeah, no, like because he had already announced he was leaving in.
And but even before that, I just felt like he was very like just like whatever, dude. Like fuck that. Like it was sad. I was like, no. Like I was so scared that he was gonna retire. I was like, please, Lewis. But now it feels like you said, yeah, they are a racier P5. No, are they faster? I don't know. It's not since Sebastian Vettel had to give them the equation for them to calculate the lap time he needed to be doing. Have I been so shocked and appalled by like what are they doing? They seem to have no idea where any of the traffic is. They have no idea what the weather is. They are working. I bet you that what this says to me is that they take the tire data from practice and are like, good to go. No need to calculate this different stints or look at what's going on with the different stints during the race. We'll just go off of practice.
Oh, for sure, that's what they do. And I don't even know if it's always practice because I think it's honestly sometimes sim data.
Sick. Great. That's worse.
There are times when they don't race the hards because like the sim data says the hards are going to be a good tire, and then like someone starts on the hards, and
what's crazy?
And then but like by this point, like it's lap like 27 or whatever, and we know the hards are dog shit before Lewis would have to put them on or Jarl would have to put them on, and it's like, nope, still the hards.
What's crazy, medium rare, is that in this specific case, it wasn't even tire deg from other teams. They, between the two of them, had already used every compound in the race. They just needed to look at their own data, which they have. They don't even need to extrapolate that from the lap times. They have sensors on the car.
And the other thing that we should also like probably keep in mind, right, is we know that like basically all of the drivers, or at least all of the good ones, and I only say the good ones because I have heard them do this on the radio at some point, can calculate other people's tire deg.
No, the way Lewis had a better idea of how the mediums did during that race in the car than on than they can on the pit wall is the most batshit crazy thing of all time. Like,
Remember when Lewis in 2024 is when Charles went Monza, right? With the one stop?
yes.
Right. When Lewis was like, yeah, no, when I found out what lap times the McLarens were doing, I was like, you're going too fast. You're absolutely forcing yourself into a two stop. Like, and he said he knew that within like 10 laps. What do you mean you're doing like tire day calculations for another team? You're not racing. For fun?
What are you like? Genuinely, what are they doing on the pit wall?
Remember Coda 21 when Max just starts like yelling at GP to basically start dictating Checo's race strategy to try and have a first stint.
Most of these people do have ADHD Pro Max because both Max and Lewis have had very funny moments where they literally get out of the car and are like, yo, like I saw that they're watching the race on the screens as they're driving around, which is crazy. Oh, chilling. Absolutely chilling. But like, oh my God. I just like what just 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 when you think I'm like, Ferrari will never shock me. Nothing could shock me from their behavior. God damn it, they've done it again. They One thing about Ferrari is they will always be able to top themselves when it comes to incompetence. There is nobody who's not doing it like them. Like they
Is Ferrari the most? So is this the most egregious Ferrari error of the Zandvoort return era, or is it Zandvoort 23 when you were just in the trenches the entire time and did one of your most deranged race recaps of all time? Where what I believe to be the first time you ever said my name in one of your TikToks, because you do apologize to me for being one of the number one Zandvoort defenders.
That's
But the other one you have, the other one that's worth pointing out is here, of course, Zandvoort was the three tire pit stop.
No, the word I will say, I think that this isn't a mistake necessarily. I think that this and the Seb lap time thing, and then the Silverstone 2023, where they're giving, literally, like I have a spreadsheet of like, like time, like lap, what was said. They just give Charles and Carlos completely different weather forecasts. Those four. I put those in an almost different category of like, it's not the action that did or didn't result from this. It's the horrifying insight into the fact that a function that a pit wall performs for teams, very standard operating procedure at every single other team, they're just completely incapable of performing. And that to me is almost more harrowing than any single mistake could be. But by far, the worst single mistake has to be not bringing spark plugs to Japan. Three races before the end of the season, he just doesn't get to participate in the race because they did not bring working spark plugs to the nation of Japan.
That's pretty bad.
Seconded by Hungary 2022. That
No. Oh, come on. We're missing a very obvious one. Fuji.
I mean, that was Seb crashing. That wasn't their mistake. Oh, sorry. Seb was on Red Bull. What am I talking about? No, you're right. It is Fuji, actually. You're right. It is Fuji.
It's the obvious answer.
It's
There was an email.
yeah. There.
Charlie Whiting sent an email.
No, you're right. It's Fuji 2007. You are absolutely correct because even if even if there hadn't been an email, even if it was a genuine, even if they had somehow been able to get away with it, which you were never, I don't know how the fuck they thought they were going to get away with it, but even if you had been able to get away with it,
It was a
it
completely
was
insane decision.
most insane decision. Guys, there was a literal hurricane going on during this race. You could not see anything. They were going maybe 20 miles an hour, crawling around,
20 laps of fucking safety car racing.
crawling around this track. It is raining harder than it's ever rained before in the history of time. And they are like, we're going to break the rules to put them out on slick tires. Intermediate, sorry, intermediate tire. It, it, I can't think of a situation where you would have to be on hard hallucinogens to think that a intermediate tire, you could take someone who has never even seen a car before in their life, and they would know that you needed to put on wet tires in that situation. And so like it's the fact that like not only were they trying to be slick and being potentially less slick than a person has ever been, but also they were the thing that they were trying to very badly attempting to cheat to attain was a disadvantage. And again, that's what that's toward the end of the season. Japan was back then. So like 2007 competitive championship. He's lucky both Fernando Alonso and Lewis binned it in that fucking race. And Kimi is Kimi and was able to come back to the front. But that is also the perfect example of these things get forgotten because when the driver, when cover, like when Kimi has an amazing drive from the back, keep in mind he qualified on the front row. When Kimi has an amazing drive from the back in the wet, iconic performance, everyone forgets about Ferrari's mistake. But if Kimi driving from the wet, having to fight extra hard, or in a, again, I cannot emphasize to you how much this was a hurricane, a monsoon was happening. If he had spun when he was out there on the tires that he had no business being on, it would have been, oh, Kimmy sucks. He's a terrible driver. Like he binned it behind the safety car. I hate them. 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 And
Okay, I'm gonna be real. I actually don't blame them for Monaco 22. That was just the Monaco curse, okay?
no.
Monaco curse extended before Charles was at Ferrari, you know.
And you know what? I still haven't gotten an apology from Autosport since we're circling back, where Charles was racing in the Monaco Historic Grand Prix. And historique. The French get mad if you don't have. It's so funny for people who have a very strong accent, they can't accept anybody else having an accent. Why is the pronunciation police? And now, don't get me wrong, when it comes to people's names, I do believe you should make a good faith effort to say it correctly, right? However, comma, maybe this is just because, like, as a white American, correcting someone when they have an accent and being a dick about it is like just about the most heinous thing I could possibly imagine doing. But why is everybody in the world allowed to have accents except for Americans? Because when French people like you wouldn't be able to say if Charles said CJ, he wouldn't say it right. He would say it with a French accent.
Oui, oui.
And I wouldn't can you imagine if he was like CJ? Because they can't do the j, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine if I sat there and I was like, oh, we can't even say my name. But God forbid you don't say Montreal. And it's like, I will say the French are the number one.
Well, Montreal is the craziest one because the way that you're quote unquote supposed to say it in French Mm, again, it's Montreal, right?
Montreal.
It's more a owl. So there's supposed to be an R where the N is, and then the T and the other R and the E are supposed to, I guess, go fuck themselves.
And I don't know why, but like why are French speakers like this? Because Spanish speakers aren't really like that.
No, they're uppity if you say like Rio Grande instead of like the Rio Grande. Grand, they got annoying about.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, they're like that at the Grand Prix too. And it's like, um, no, it amuses me because this French speakers, and I will say, people uh are really, really like that about specifically Middle Eastern place names. And I'm like, it just seems like it's a it's a different language and therefore your tongue is trained in a different way. And when people are like Boston, I'm not like it's Boston. How dare you disrespect my culture? I just understand that British people pronounce the letter O differently than me. You know?
Also, I refuse to accept a sanctimonious lecture about the sanctity of a culture from people.
From British people. No, but what's crazy about the
From that, I specifically vis-a-vis the Middle Eastern place names. It's like I don't really want to respect a culture that treats women the way that these cultures do, and so I don't really care if I'm being taken.
well, I don't respect I don't
The grandness of Saudi Arabia or whatever the fuck. Or Qatar, where I'm not allowed to get fucking, where I will be killed if anyone found out I was gay.
listen, I respect everyone's culture and nobody's culture at the same time, but I would like to say try to say things correctly. And I think that there are a lot of people who don't even give it a go, but at the same time, we have gone because particularly for people's names, I do agree that it's like you should make a good honest effort to pronounce it as close to correct as you can in your accent, right? What's crazy though is that the people correcting the Middle Eastern place names are Middle Eastern people that are from those places are completely normal about it. They get it because they have accents. It's British people that are like, actually it's I'm like, you're just say British accent. That's not what it sounds like when the Arabic speakers say it. You just
I will specifically with vis-a-vis Qatar. I will call it Qatar and not Qatar the second that you stop hating homosexuals. Okay.
but also okay. Fair enough on your case. I want to say it the right way. But whenever I say it one way, people get mad at me for it being wrong. And I'm like, I think again that you guys just issue with the way that I pronounce the letter A, and I'm sorry, but, like, there's really nothing that I could do about that situation. Like, there just isn't, like, it's bot Valtteri The and the only way I could and also I'm like, again, maybe this isn't I'm definitely, like, this is impacted from, like, my American cultural lens where mocking or mimicking someone's accent is pretty offensive. So I'm like, to just like break into a fake Finnish in this case accent to like, I to me feels crazier than just using the English approximation. It's also like,
Right. No, like the idea, the idea that we would say like, I'm trying to think of like, Deshaun Jackson. Like, fuck no. That would be like
yeah,
slapped. Say that in a bar watching like a fucking Eagles game in 2011, and you will get beaten the shit out of, and you will be beaten the shit out of correctly.
right. And you would be right. But I will say, and it's like, yeah. And again, the thing is, this is mostly like most people who are like from these places are fairly reasonable because again they are familiar with the concept of accents, but the to me I'm just like i I don't understand why people can't grasp that like certain sounds do not exist in some languages and do not exist in other languages. And so when you grow up your whole life, even if you completely commit yourself to learning that language, to studying, which by the way, there's no way you could do for every like country and language in the world. But even if you completely commit yourself to studying like the diction and the pronunciation and everything of that language, you would still not be able to pronounce that sound correctly probably and would have a little bit of an accent for years and years and years and years because when you're training your tongue and vocal cords to speak when you're younger, it's really, really hard to redo that as an adult. That's why, like, there is a language window. Like, if you don't learn language early, you can miss that window.
Yep, entirely.
Well, and that's the other thing is it's like, again, I hate to do the like reverse of it all, but also like these are white people, so fuck off. Right. Imagine if people treated Americans started treating Europeans pronouncing things the way that Europeans treat Americans pronouncing those things, and what the reaction to the writ large would be. And the funniest part is that the vanguard of this charge is French people who, because of the sounds that exist in French and the sound
And the silent age.
yeah, and the sounds that exist in English have a very strong accent in English.
You know who no one really, and the thing is that, like, at the end of the day, the French need to understand that, we tolerate the fact that Thierry Henry, despite living in not France for the vast majority of his adult life at this point, and probably the majority of his life at this point, like, I'm sorry, you're never going to forget that this man is a Frenchman. You're just never going to. He's the best sports pundit in the world, probably. He fucking kicked ass on the World
He
Cup.
was good. I liked him. I liked him. I know who that is.
The CBS show with him, character, and Mike Richards is the greatest contribution to society that we've ever had. And like, I will never forget that man's friend. I don't give a fuck. Who cares?
Right. Right.
Okay, stop attacking my people, medium rare.
You're not the cave of claws. You hate the cave of claws.
Yeah, but like but America tried to like destroy the French language. So I am like, we are all Quebecois right now. You have not paid attention to this trade deal, have you?
Oh, I mean, there are so many things to be paying attention to. I do apologize that trade with Canada, I'll have to since we are currently in the process of threatening genocide every 3 seconds and also destroying the world economy for literally no reason. I have been a little bit more locked in on that in particular, and then also the midterms. I won't lie to you, the tariffs did fall by my wayside news-wise.
Even though I've been fighting for my goddamn life on Twitter.
Well, first of all, you definitely are correct because the people that are opposing you seem to be, their position seems to be that Carney should have cut off all trade with the United States of America to like stick it to the man, which seems like a bad idea considering 90% of Canadian oil exports go through the United States. It seems like that would have a negative effect on the economy of Canada. And it's not like you're gonna make Trump see reason. Like, it's not like he's gonna be like, oh, like, okay, like he's a crazy person.
Two facts that are relevant here. One, Canada does not control. There's not a pipeline between the oil in Alberta and like Toronto, Ottawa, or Montreal that doesn't go through Michigan. Right. Because it was easier to fucking send Line 5 through the U.S. And it's like, yeah, I don't really think I want to give like John James a veto right on my ability to not pay $7 a liter for gas.
Yeah, that does seem like it would be not ideal.
Right. Number one, but number two,
is John James the governor of Michigan right now? No. Yeah. Okay. I was like, no, I what a pull. No, he's like their perennial candidate there. I was just like, wait a minute, it's still Whitmer, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, for now, I mean, Pepsi's gonna win, but like, you know, but like,
But no, you shouldn't. Unlike this is a gripe I frequently have with my friends here on the political party that I'm not a part of because I'm apolitical. Um, the is that liberals in DC like to form their opinions about and legislate as if they nobody else will ever be in power ever again. And when you suggest to them that like, hey, this we've been kind of doing this since the beginning of the time, it goes back and forth, like the system itself is important. Um, and we're supposed to care about that. And I know it feels like it's unfair because the other side is trying to actively destroy the government. And you're like, why can't we destroy the government in pursuit of things that we want to? And it's like, well, no, we're supposed to not want that. Um, but because of we, like institutions, things like that, safeguards of democracy, not doing too hot at the moment, but that doesn't mean it's the solution isn't to like also become Trump. Um, the but but it's also like I do almost respect the confidence of like every single time it's like this is it, we've won forever. I'm like, okay.
yeah, it's almost like you should. It's almost like your plan for your country should involve the idea that you are like going to lose an election at some point.
Right. Right.
No, I'm really sorry. I'm not doing liberals are just bad as Republicans, except they're pro-gay. This shit, Donald Trump is like, again, has like a murder squad on the streets of America, and Democrats are, attempting to stop it. And, oh, 4 Democrats voted for ICE funding. Congratulations, 219 Republicans did as well.
Israel's also carpet bombing Beirut right now, so it actually could get worse, turns out.
Yeah, it's almost like the guy who tried to steal an election is not equivalent. He's not, just as bad.
It's almost like putting the guy that said he wanted to turn Gaza into waterfront condos that he's gonna develop and sell wasn't pro-Palestinian.
So
Crazy.
can we talk about
Oh, yeah, well, I'm gonna have to cut out a lot this week.
truly, and weirdly, mostly not my fault for
No, it's my well, the I got triggered by the flyovers and it's been a spiral down ever since then.
Can we talk about the fact that can we talk about the fact that the guy who's buying the Lakers is like? Can we talk about like the whole thing with the Lakers sale and like Mark Walter not having any money all of a sudden, and Josh Kushner coming in, and how I have a conspiracy?
Okay, wait, remind me who the Lakers guy is. He's important, right?
He's like big private equity Guggenheim guy.
I know him from
With the
something.
Dodgers.
Yeah, I know, but I know him. Okay, anyway.
So he just bought the team like 2 years ago.
Yeah, from the no, that was the
Massive, and is now under massive federal investigation for a bunch of essentially Ponzi scheme ass loans that he did not have the money to cover.
nice.
Is rapid fire sailing everything he owns, including his share of Chelsea, the Lakers, a bunch of other shit. Then it's Josh Kushner, husband of, of course, who Josh Kushner is married.
Yes, Carly Kloss. Yes.
Yep.
Sorry, I couldn't remember. The dad is Charles, and then the brother's Josh. I can never remember which one's which.
Right. Yeah. No. Apparently, Josh Kushner, registered Democrat. The internet has told me this, and has donated to some Democrats over the years.
To be fair,
Convinced that Josh Kushner is like paying bots to tweet and replies of like people.
well, to be fair, it's not hard to be the good Kushner. That's a low bar.
That is some real skinny fat camp.
I will say though, and I don't think this is the case. To be fair, I know basically nothing about the man except for that his dad belongs in prison. But the imagine if you were just like you kind of got this like shitty dirtbag dad. You're like, whatever, like I'm just gonna be like a normal ass, like blue voting, finance bro vest, empty vessel of a like you're just like whatever, like I'm not gonna like you're just like fine. Like you're an unobjectionable person. I mean, not listen, I don't think he's out here saving the world. I don't think he should be nominated for
I'm gonna marry Taylor Swift
right.
BFF.
Like I'm just gonna be like a regular ass like blue New York City voter. Like I'm not like I don't have any like crazy bad beliefs. Like I'm not gonna but I'm also not like, I'm not out here like doing the right thing, but it's just middle of the road. And then
And then your brother's father-in-law becomes the president, the fascistic president of the United
you
States.
have to be your this is your life forever. You don't get to like because also if he like he works for some hedge fund, right? So it's not like he can come out and say anything really because like in those kind of jobs you're like really not supposed to be like speaking publicly, right? Especially about politics. So like
No, there's a reason that Bob Iger's shoving in like 50 million bucks or whatever for this Lakers sale, and it's so that Bob Iger can be the quote unquote owner or governor of the team because like Josh Fisher does not have the time or the capacity to sit in fucking. Do you think like an actual like head of a private equity company has the time to like sit in on a fucking like competition committee meeting with her and like James Dolan?
I would think he would have more time than the CEO of Disney.
But Iger's not the CEO of Disney anymore.
Oh, really?
Iger retired at the beginning of the year.
Oh, who is it now?
Josh tomorrow. He was running Perks before.
Interesting.
Yeah, they got Iger the fuck out the paint. They promoted the Parks guy, and then they gave the other one, Dana Walden. They gave her a promotion from being like head of TV to head of like all like scripted content.
That's good because their TV's been the only shit that hasn't sucked.
Right, but like. So they promoted tomorrow, but then they also gave Walden like a promo to like also cover a lot of like film shit, so that she would like have enough of a promotion to stay at the company.
No, but I will say, okay, I know nothing about this man. He's probably a deeply thin, but I do have to at least give Josh Kushner a little bit of credit over Elon. Elon Musk is a tech investor, a good one, but he is an investor. He's not Tony. Josh Kushner actually he like worked in IB and like actually that's a real job. Like it's a job you at least have to show up and be in the office for. You know what I mean? Like you and don't get me wrong, he has had the cushiest life of all time, but he, for many years, did have an actual job that you needed to show up for, which is more than Elon Musk could say.
For sure.
Oh, I know.
This is my thing. It's just like, but like, just absolutely crazy that the Lakers just got like flipped.
Wait, but also I heard that the sale like might not go through because the daughter, Jeannie Bus, has to approve it.
No. So this is the thing. So Jeannie was the like governor of the team, and she had like a certain amount of like she had like some like I think it was one of those where she like in terms of equity she had as much as her brothers, but in terms of like the majority vote when she owned the majority, she had the controlling interest. But
Okay.
then when she sold the controlling interest, she basically just reverted to the same level of power as the siblings.
Okay.
And the thing is, she has basically like either like she is systemically either like isolated or in the case of one of her brothers who was working at basketball lots fired every other member of the family, and then the rest of the family were like, no, we're taking the money at the new value. We're taking, because she only sold like, so they had about 60% of the team, and then they went down to like 17% of the team. And then they're like, no, we're going to take a 12.5% valuation, and we're going to take our 17% at a 12.5 billion valuation. You know?
Yeah. No, that makes
like we're gonna do that, please. And she's trying to like send lawyer letters to them, being like, actually, you can.
Okay, I see. I see what's happening.
But also, like, the Guggenheim guy had the majority, so, like, even if that sideshow ends up in court for the next 3 years, which, look, people say Succession was about the Murdochs. They really ought to be about the Bus family, because that shit was really funny.
My favorite part about watching Succession is looking at the stepmom the whole time and being like, "You're gonna fuck Tony Blair in like 5 years." And good for her. I couldn't be more on her side.
I mean, here's my thing with, like, the general. Why is Rupert Murdoch still alive?
Crazy, right? How old is he?
He's 90s, I think.
Oh, I guess yeah, yeah.
Like I just assumed he was holding on till he finally got the kids to before he got the two liberal kids to give full control to
To the
Lachlan.
to the
You
one.
know,
Yeah.
but like he did that, bro. What are you still holding on for?
You did it. You're whatever.
You
No,
survived. You saved Fox News from becoming a pro climate change hellscape.
yeah. I will say this. I hate to tip my cap to Richard Murdoch, to Rupert Murdoch on anything. But the one time I truly must tip my cap is the 6-page Vanity Fair spread that he had put done on complete with interviews with his household staff to that he did about how his wife was banging Tony Blair. And normally I would not support a smear campaign against a woman, but because you reader know that A, Rupert Murdoch was definitely cheating on this woman the whole time. And two, she comes across like kind of iconic in it. And he used good pictures of her. So I would have that framed on my wall. But also the fact Vanity Fair is such a funny publication to pick. And like not the like not the like glossy 5 star. Like, you know what? Slay. Both of them slay. And she got like $30 million in the divorce or something. I'm like, this woman is who I want to be in this world. Just kidding. I would never marry Rupert Murdoch. But
Okay, there's like no, I don't think I can ask you that question in public. Unfortunately, I think that might even be too far from our relationship.
wait, now I'm curious who you're gonna ask me if I would marry.
I was gonna say you have to five marriage to get $100 million, let's say, in a divorce settlement. Elon,
No.
Jeff Bezos,
Yes.
really? No, I
I
was trying to say which of the following is true. It's like a fuck Mary Kill, but it's
uh
like a
I
yes,
just
yes,
couldn't.
yes, no, no.
Elon is just such first of all, he's a Nazi, so there's and like openly. Um they're all obviously none of them are I'm not doing this for the morals, right? And I will be donating 30% of the money. So know that going in, I'm doing this for the greater good and also because I'm a selfish bitch who doesn't want to have a job. So um but I just couldn't even like you have to be able to pretend, right? And like with Elon Musk, like I would I would he would divorce me for domestic violence and he would be right to do that. Like I just couldn't do it. Like Jeff Bezos, I feel like I could be like I feel like I could almost trick him into I would be like I feel like I could trick him into like I should be like, "Hey, like maybe Amazon warehouse workers should have rights." Like I think labor laws are good. Like subliminally, I'll just be like whispering in his ear at night like OSHA requires 30-minute bathroom break. But I feel like who is the third one? Who is the third one?
Lachlan Murdoch, the Murdoch, the Murdoch successor son.
Oh yeah, the fail son. I could eat. Yeah, no problem. I would be running Fox News. I would Barry Weiss Fox News. That's what I would do. Let me see what this motherfucker looks like before I commit to it. Okay, he's not like
Actually, I can include her. I think she is worth that amount of money now that she got that $150 million valuation for the free press.
Fuck no. And I know that that's wrong because I know objectively Lachlan Murdoch is worse than Barry Weiss. But again, like, you'd have to listen to her talk, which is unbearable.
Okay, last one, Paul Baker.
I don't even know who that is.
Proprietor of the Mail in Britain.
Oh, again, I'd be running the Daily Mail. I'd be running it. I thought Murdoch owned the. I thought Murdoch owned the Daily Mail.
No, he owns the Sun and the X News of the World and the Times.
Okay. That makes sense.
No, the Mail. No, bro. Alistair Campbell bitches about Paul Baker. How do I know who this is when you're the one who has a weird psychosexual thing with Alistair Campbell, and Alistair Campbell hates Paul Baker more than anything in the world?
You're right. I need to get my levels of obsession up because I'm falling down on the job of.
How do you listen to that podcast?
I really don't that often, but also, like, I think you ask me this about every single thing I listen to, and when I tell you that, like, I listen to every news podcast and most history podcasts on YouTube because I have that shit on 24/7, 365. Like, I listen to you're talking to someone who, for years for my job, had to listen to cable news all day. Fox, MSNBC, CNN, literally when one was on commercial, you would switch to the other one, and then you would switch if, like, there was, like, an interview or whatever, but, like,
Yeah, so and then you should find the music.
Yeah, I guess I prefer listening to music when I'm in motion. Like walking or driving.
I know. I'm like writing columns, so, like, honestly, you want to know my, like, most strange thing? I will be listening to music in my headphones while I am calling my friends.
That's crazy. I thought I was crazy because I read and listen to TV at the same, or like a podcast at the same time. But listening to music and talking to other people is peak. That's crazy.
I'll just have like Sparks by Coldplay on while, like, I'm looking nice at it. I was listening to music while on, like, a call with a friend.
That's nuts.
Do you think I didn't have ADHD?
No, I mean, still, but that's next level. I have been at the place of, I want to start a season 7 rewatch of The West Wing. That's a.
Did you finish season 4?
Yes. I, like, forgot everything that happened in that show. It's so funny. Some seasons I've watched all of them almost the same amount except for 2 and 7. But seasons 4 and 5, I just have, like, mind erased from my brain for some reason. And no matter how many times I watch them, every time I rewatch them, I'm, like, surprised as if this is the first, or not really. Like, when we get to a plot line, I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Like, you know. But if you were like,
you forget French guy?
no, I don't forget about who could forget about, what's his name? Jean-Claude. He has a really French name.
I believe it's Jean-Paul.
Jean-Paul. Yes, because I remember the first time I watched it as a kid being like, why is he named after the Pope? Like, that was my only reference for that name.
No, okay. So here's what I think. I love season 4.
It's overhated for sure.
I am a season 4 best season person. Like, I think I
can't even shit on you. As a season 7 best season person, I can't even shit on you, but we all know number 2 is the best season.
No, 3 is better than 2. You forget how much Drek there is between In the Shadow, Two Gunmen and Noel.
Yeah, but you hate the Supreme Court episode, and that's like one of my favorite episodes. So, and we get a lot of
No. The Mendoza episode? That's season one, dude.
no, not Mendoza.
The Supremes is 5.
You're right. That is like way later.
No. Here's my thing, okay? Second half. So both 2 and 3 have dynamite, like have like 15 dynamite episodes. My problem are like 12 to 14, whatever. And like the stretch from like State of the Union to from the State of the Union where Abby and Bartlett have the fight in the kitchen, right? Where she realizes that he wants to run again.
Yeah.
Through to Dire Straits at the end of the season. Immaculate. Immaculate. In the Shout Out to Gunman is the best of the like Sorkin like 2-episode like premieres.
Yeah.
Immaculate.
So good.
Problem. The midterms episode is shit.
Yeah, it is.
Remember when they're talking about the nuclear disarmament treaty or whatever the hell?
Yeah.
And then they just do nothing with it.
No.
And trip that's like kind of dumb.
Season 2 was also peak. Like, we're gonna give you like a tidbit about their personal life or like something about their background that we're either never gonna address again or we're gonna explicitly contradict later on. That was
here's the case. So here's the case for 3. Okay, there is a stretch of 3 that's like kind of mid, right? It's like the Sam being like, "We're gonna cure cancer" in the State of the Union thing, and like, the poet laureate, being a little weird. But here's the thing. Abby. Let's see. Abby being completely insane all season long because she hates her. She hates the president, but like also loves him. Mary Louise Parker, the woman that you are.
Yeah, actually you're right. You're right about season 3 purely because
For America.
Pure and also like fucking carries in that season. Like,
oh yeah,
She is such a good actress, and like the storyline of and how they and again Aaron Sorkin getting bailed out by one of the greatest acting performances of all time. Many such cases, but I do coming from a Watsonian perspective, the way that they build it up, and you kind of like, especially Toby, who's super defensive of the president, or Josh, sorry, who's super, they build it up, and you kind of like, especially Toby, who's super defensive of the president, or Josh, sorry, who's super defensive of Leo and the president, who the way they build it up, and you kind of are supposed to be like, oh, like she's such a bitch, you know what I mean? Like, what's the problem, whatever. And then she just completely like flips it on everyone, and like everyone is like immediately humbled. And you as the audience are immediately humbled. No notes. No notes. And I know you didn't do that on purpose, you stupid little sick bitch, but you know what? It worked.
Look, here's the thing, right? Like 17 people, like the stretch from like 17 people, or even the Staggered filibuster, right? To the end is incredible, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of the staff finding Anthony Lyons as an alcoholic into CJ, into the CJ death threat, Mark Harmon, into the single best 10 minutes that Derek Sorkin has ever written.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, Crime Boy, I Don't Know, into Mark Harmon dying, into Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And just Mary Louise Parker and fucking Bradley Whitford just like fucking going at it. And then he's just like, she's like, I play in the big leagues. When I win, I have a drink. When I lose, I have 2. And Josh is like, does it not even matter to you that Rob Ritchie would be so much worse for women? And then she just put the phone. And I don't remember what the character name is for Mark Harmon's character. The black Vera Wang,
Yeah.
Allison Janney in that dress. Oh my god!
It's true. It's true. And
Like,
Mark Herman is so good. I will say though, the um but yes, yeah, I see you. I see you. You're right.
like it's 3-2 in some order. Then it's 7-4 in some order. Then it's 1. Then it's 6. Then it's 5.
Yeah. Although I will say I do think people like with season 2, and you're totally right about this. I have also mind erased that middle part of season 2 out of my brain. Um I think that people overstate the gulf between all of the rankings a lot because like even the like quote unquote like flop seasons like season 5, there are still great moments in season 5 and there are still flop storylines in seasons 2 and 3, you know?
Like when Abby comes back to save a government shutdown, and she just looks at Jen and goes, "Where's Josh?"
Yeah.
And then Josh gets to be the one who saves the day.
Yes.
Incredible.
That
The Josh speech about the constituency won, you know, incredible.
when
Oh, the other
when CJ when CJ fucks over the president to give the story to Danny.
Oh yeah, like publish it, like
Yeah.
publish it now. And Dave just looks at her and goes, "Thanks." No, here's the thing though. Okay, for the return of Danny Kincannon, him in the Santa
The
costume,
suit!
the
The
Santa suit,
goldfish!
and then her talking to them talking in her office back in the thing, and he goes like, I'm not gonna be fucked around on this story. Like off the record, I know you did this. And then CJ just going to Josh and just being like, Danny Kincannon just told me the wildest story that we killed Omar Sharif. And
Josh's face.
Josh just goes, do you believe? Like, and
Josh's face.
Josh just goes, do you believe? Like, really? And she just goes, and I got to tell you, I think he's 100% right.
Yeah. Well, she's like trying to go back and forth. He's like, I've got the story. I'm telling you out of respect. Like,
Marion Coach Source A from Marblehead.
yes, that's true. The privateers episode, that's a good one. I also believe season 4 is in your argument for that's my favorite Christmas episode, I think, where they're trying to
When the president and Leo decide to make Josh try and solve Middle East peace, and Josh is being a massive dick to Donna, and then Leo is like, "You need to get your shit figured out." Yes,
yes. That's
that one's great.
such a good one. And we get some
I mean, Sorkin basically went 4 for 4 with his criticism.
That's true. We also get some good Donna backstory in that one. Like I love when we get like some actual info. That is my one big criticism of Sorkin because like he was like, "Oh, like I'm not going to do the like periodicals for chicks thing where it's like all about romance," which like I do appreciate, but at the same time, I don't even need like romantic storylines, but I will say there are times and he gets better at this as they go along, but there are times where in the beginning, these characters that not Josh, but the rest of them can feel very flat because I, it seems like they do not exist outside of the four walls of this building, right? Because it's just not realistic. Like, yes, obviously, like the show revolves around the job, but we don't hear about their previous lives, their current lives. Like, you think that they would have like friends in common? You know what I mean? Like, we just get nothing.
So remember when India Pakistan happens, and Toby is the one who has to like kind of together with CJ.
Yeah.
She's fucking losing, like, she's correctly losing her mind at them.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, okay, like, it should be the chief of staff. No. Like, I guess technically she reports to the comms director, but, like, she has never reported to Toby at any means.
It's so funny, but no. The structure of this office is my Roman Empire, because why do they all report to Leo? What's Josh's job? Deputy Chief of Staff, there's usually a word after that. Like, someone will be like, for policy, for communications, for like whatever, like advance, for logistics. There's like, and also typically the way it works is that like all of the deputies then report to the chief of staff. Why is the press secretary in the morning senior staff meetings?
Because they have Allison Janney and she is obviously good. But like, no, but that is the answer. Like, the org structure makes no sense because they just need Allison Janney there. Bro, why is Josh Molina just in every fucking meeting in season 5 when he works for fucking Bingo Bob?
I don't think we ever saw Toby and CJ have a meeting one time. She reports to Josh, the ledge guy.
Which is completely mental. No, but Toby, but the one time they do, and it's like, Toby, but the thing is that, like, Toby being the one to try and, like, put that back together makes a lot more sense after you've seen In the Shadow of Two Gunmen.
Yeah.
Where Toby is the one who, hauls ass to California to come get her, right?
Yes. And
then and so it's like, okay, like, clearly this is, like, more of a thing. No, I needed getting the band together because it humanizes Bartlett. Because the whole thing with Bartlett was that he wasn't actually supposed to be this, like, main character.
Yeah.
He is the flattest character before In the Shadow of Two Gunmen, and then even, more so when you get the Bartlett for America stuff,
Yeah.
And it's like, when you get the Leo meeting in, Manchester or whatever.
Yeah, and we get Miss Landingham, and we learn a little bit about the dad.
Right, yeah. Like, that's the thing, is that, like, I actually think Sorkin did. It's one of the few things I will give him unambiguous credit for. He did the flashbacks well because he used them to illuminate the characters, right? Like, it's not just like getting the band back. It's not just like a band getting together.
Yeah.
Like, for shits and gigs. The whole point of the Shadow of Two Gunmen is that you are seeing, like, you are seeing the fundamental truth of the story, which is that, like, it's actually Josh Lyman who is the sort of, like, central figure of both of the show, right? He is the closest thing to the self-insert character of Sorkin, right? He is who Sorkin aspires to be, right? But, it's the airport scene with the governor, right? It's you see this devotion to Bartlett, right? Just loyalty to Bartlett, especially even something like Let Bartlett Be Bartlett, right? Where it's like, I don't really know you don't understand at that point why all of these people are so unwaveringly loyal to a president who is either absent or an asshole to them. Right. All of season 1.
Well, and especially because it's like when we already know their backstories, I'm like, it would make more sense if these were like longtime AIDS Bartlett people, like Leo was. But I'm like, you just started working for this guy 5 minutes ago.
Right, exactly. And so you do need, it is actually one of the sort of, like, great sort of innovations of, like, you need to flesh out Bartlett. And in so doing, you might as well just flesh out everybody else. And I think the other thing is that, like, Sorkin is very good at the, like, 4-episode arcs to end the season, right? From Let Bartlett Be Bartlett to the shooting.
Yeah.
Season 1. From the Stackhouse filibuster and 17 people to the announcement that he's running again, right?
Yeah.
The 4-episode Simon Donovan arc, right?
Yes.
Into, Crime Boy, I don't know, it's the moment I decided to kick your ass. you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the, like, all the Hoyne stuff into, like, Hoyne stuff into graduation and the taking the 25th.
What
Like,
season is does Donna get blown up in?
5. Which is funny because the show, even though Sorkin leaves, you still feel it. Definitely in 5, you definitely feel this, like, 4 episodes. It's, again, that 4-episode thing.
Yeah.
It's like the course. It's the correspondence dinner bottle episode, right? And then it's, or I guess that's like kind of in the arc, but it's like the bottle episode because you got like Will and Toby screaming at each other, you know.
Yeah.
Donna's going on the Codell, you know, etc. And then it's like, and then she goes to Palestine, or Israel and Palestine, and then she gets blown up, and then Bartlett decides he wants to get peace.
Yeah. That terrible storyline, I was glad they let her fuck that hot photographer. I was like, good for her.
Well, the thing is, they actually
They never let anyone fuck in the show. I'm like, God damn it. These are a bunch of single 35-year-olds, and none of them are fucking.
Well, isn't it supposed to be presumed that like Josh and Amy are fucking at various points in season 3?
Yes, and that is discussed like pretty openly. You're right. Again, Josh is like the one. Josh is the only one who gets to have a life outside of these 4 walls.
Okay. Do we think that Sam was fucking the prostitute even after like the first night when they were quote unquote friends? Like, do we think there was still some sex happening there?
I don't think so. Does she come up again?
Well, no, she's there for the whole fucking first season.
Really?
Yeah. Because remember the whole thing at the end of him trying to give her a graduation gift, and then
Oh yes, you're right.
And then I think don't they go to her to get like dirt on Republicans to try and trade for Leo's drug stuff at one point? And then Leo gets really mad at them.
I will say, I'm obviously there's nothing they can do about, like, I'm not truly mad about it because like like that actor died, so like there's nothing Leo had to die, you know what I mean? But I my like white whale of West Wing is that, but I actually am like, maybe it would have been too much. Maybe this is like a season 8 or 9 thing, but I'm like, I want the Santos White House purely because the Leo Kirsten Chenoweth, I forget what her name in the show was, storyline of like her just like continually hitting on him and him having just not a clue is the funniest. Like, it's so funny and also like heartwarming. I'm like, but they couldn't, they were getting Josh and Donna together. So like, it would have been like too much to go from that to like, now 2 people get to have sex on this show.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Like
That's true. And Chris, that was the most accurate representation of politics that happened on the whole fucking show.
No, okay, here's my problem with that, okay? It's, oh God. It's like the version, I don't remember what song.
Oh my God.
Name of the song.
I'm telling you, every day anytime I live stream, Hannah FaceTimes me. Anyway, continue.
No, oh, My Body and Soul, I think it is. It's like they have the wrong version of the song playing in the bar when everyone is like going up 2 by 2 trying to be casual about it.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like an off Ella Fitzgerald version, but it's not quite. I don't believe it's that one. And it's just like, oh, it angers me so much. Though, not as much. My actual white whale, my least favorite thing in the world is Grey's Anatomy. Sandra Oh, whatever, Christina Yang is about to win like the fake like Nobel, but for like medicine surgery thing that they create in the show that's like very important.
Yes.
And well, she ended up winning the, and that's like part of how they get her the fuck off the show is that like she could never win it because the foundation of the guy whose name the word's named after, they were never going to give it to a surgeon at a Harper Avery Hospital, even though they then give it to fucking Ellen Pompeo like 3 seasons later, like twice. But whatever. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter. Derek's dead by that point, so fuck Grey's Anatomy. Not the point, though. No, the thing is, they play the worst, most atrocious cover of Tears for Fears' Everybody Wants to Rule the World, as she is like having this panic attack and like walking back into the ballroom. And can I just say, Everybody Wants to Rule the World is one of the great songs of our times. And to desecrate it with the worst smooth jazz nonsense. Oh, I'm still so mad about it. I'm
I'm
so mad.
I'm deeply sorry. That is such a funny pull to be that passionate about. But you know what? I support you. I support you.
Season 7. The one problem with season 7 is that like after the election, like do any of those episodes even like matter? Like, okay, a bunch of people are jockeying for cabinet. A bunch of people who we mostly don't see are jockeying for cabinet jobs. Like, they don't even bring Hannah DeVernay Smith back as Nancy. They just like, I clearly because they couldn't get her.
Yeah.
But like, she's like up for a thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, what are we like? Okay, but like, I can't even have her be quippy again.
Yeah, it was almost like they wanted to do Senate confirmation, but they were gonna end with the inauguration, so they couldn't do that. So they were like, we'll just do the inside, like, off plot line we would have done for that, but without any like actual stakes because it's still like 3 months. And now obviously they announce things like ahead and stuff, but I was like, yeah, it kind of the pacing on that felt odd.
And then just being like, I'll get Baker's through somehow. Like, how?
Right. Like
You
how?
never had a plan. Like, now again, it's very like 2006 coded of like, oh, but you gave Secretary of State Davidic, so like actually we might do this thing. But you just established the precedent 2 fucking years ago, two seasons ago, that Republicans are never going to let you pick a VP who might be a viable nominee at a future point. So what the fuck?
Well, I feel like that was maybe because I feel like that was a little different because that was like right ahead of the primary. You know what I mean? So
No, it wasn't. It was 3 months after a presidential election.
oh yeah.
This is the thing. The time jump.
Well, but presumably Santos is gonna be president for 8 years. So like it is a little
Okay. But like, but Bartlett, that meeting with Hafley, and by the way, can we talk about the fact that the guy who ends up being Senate Majority Leader was a House member from Pennsylvania in season 3 Ways and Means when they're trying to repeal the death tax, and then he's Senate Majority Leader 2 seasons.
no, yeah, that is the funniest part is that he's a freshman Senate majority leader. First to ever do it.
He was running for re-election to his own district because that was the deal they struck to save the estate tax. They had to, or inheritance tax. They had to promise to not run, to not for the D trip to not bother trying to beat him to his House seat.
Which is, by the way, the idea that the D trip would ever listen to the White House on that is laughable. But okay. Nancy Pelosi would pull out a fucking gun.
No, just like one of the funny. But also, why is the whip operation being done out of the White House?
Because otherwise we would have to cast some congressmen. So unfortunately, we will not be doing that. No, my favorite is that the Senate and that this is obviously listen, this is obviously just like obviously this is a network TV show. I'm not actually shitting on this, but the SCOTUS chambers, like when they send the flowers to the wrong guy and like they have to go apologize, is the same room where Josh Beats it's the office of the Judiciary Committee's chief chief of staff, and and it's the same room, and I'm like, I love that she's sharing an office with the Supreme Court justice.
It's really hilarious. Also crazy in craziness. Remember when we found out who one of the senators on? Remember when one Republican senator was like, "I will give you campaign finance reform because you'll have the thanks of a grateful president."
Oh yeah.
And then they don't fix campaign finance reform.
Well, probably because he was like, "Go fuck yourself."
No, he was like, that's a good answer, and they shake on it at the end of one, and then they're just like, and then they're talking about fucking hard money again with fucking Bruno Gianelli.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
I will say, the one advantage of Seven, Bruno, Bruno being like, I am like inspired by the tea and goodness of trying to put the country back together after all the harm I've done it. You know?
Yeah. Also, like, I think it was good that, like, you needed a window to the Vinnick team. Like, if it had been all new people, I think it would have been good because Bruno is like a good, fun, interesting character that I always liked his scenes. So like to put and I do and you end up really liking Vinnick and the chief of staff, but you if they had just been like, okay, 50% of the show is now these like three random people, you would have been like, what? But I will say,
And the other thing is you needed to like
will say,
and the other thing is you needed to like it enabled things like after the nuclear accident, Bruno like knows Josh, right?
exactly.
It sort of fed into this idea that like, is Josh actually ready for prime time? We've talked all this like, the sort of world of the West Wing has been so enamored by what Josh Lyman could be in this moment, right? And he won Santos the nomination when everyone in the party was telling him to drop out, and like it's this whole sort of like massive fucking like shit show, but like plainly like because the other thing is that like and that was sort of one of the better parts of season 7 is they did keep fighters for Santos and Vinnick actually keep interacting, right?
Yeah.
Remember when they found out about the illegitimate nephew?
No, the line on that is one of my favorite West Wing lines.
Remember when they found out about the illegitimate nephew?
No, the line on that is one of my favorite West Wing lines when they're like, I don't even know if he's ever voted. Like,
think about how good that scene was when Santos and Vinnick were when Santos finds the